Good afternoon. We're back with more Marvel Champions, and today I'm going to try out something different. I'm going to be testing Groot and Thor in a what-if scenario. What I want to know is, would Groot be better, more playable, more balanced, more fun, if his primary ability didn't say forced interrupt, but instead just said interrupt, so that you could choose whether you wanted to remove growth counters when he takes damage, or choose not to. Would that be overpowered? Would that be balanced? Would that essentially fix the hero? Because as he's printed, he's dumpster tier. Then we're going to try something similar with Thor as well. We're going to play a leadership deck with Thor as if he started with hand size 6 in alter ego and hand size 5 in hero form, and see if he is overpowered, if he is good, if he's more fun. Because these are simple changes that we can make to make heroes that may not get played that much, may have been purchased but not get played that much, make them much more playable. We'll see. We're going to be testing out Groot versus Green Goblin Mutagen Formula on expert difficulty. So we'll get the decks shuffled up. And we have 2 encounter cards from the Green Goblin. And we'll get our hand drawn. 2 fruitions is good. This hand seems pretty good. Wanted to run Sonic Rifle in this Groot deck because he'll want to flip to alter ego in order to get growth counters. And Sonic Rifle will help with that. So we'll get started by using his action to build 2 growth counters. We'll flip. We'll go 2 fruitions for 4 growth counters. We'll go Power of Justice for Wiccan. And we'll use Wiccan to thwart. And we discard a boost card. 3 damage is fantastic. Good job, Wiccan. And then Groot will deal 2 damage, and then we'll draw 3. So 1 threat, and the Green Goblin is going to attack, and we'll have Groot tank that attack. But Groot really needs to have his basic attack available to do things like Vine Spikes, so we're just going to face tank it. And once again, we're playing as if his interrupt is optional, not forced. So 2 damage, we'll just take that on the face, and then we have 3 encounter cards coming. And that's going to place 1 threat on the main scheme. So we got Goblin Soldier. We got Goblin Glider. And we got Wilt. Exhaust your alter ego and remove Wilt from the game. Okay, so in alter ego form we'll place 2 growth counters, and we can use Root Stomp for 5 damage, Sonic Rifle and Ironheart, and we'll Root Stomp, which deals 1 damage to me. And we also place 1 growth counter, and then we'll use Wiccan to thwart, and we discard a card. It's got 1 boost icon, so 1 damage. And then we'll draw 3. So 1 threat, 1 attack from Green Goblin, which will go on Wiccan. This card gets +1 boost if at least 1 Goblin minion is engaged. There isn't. And we have 1 encounter card coming, which is Intimidation. Choose to either spend 2 resources or give the villain a face down boost. We'll give him a boost. So we'll go... I don't think we'll Root Stomp here. I think we're going to go Root Stomp Sonic Rifle for Quake. And Vine Spikes isn't really that useful. I guess I could use it though. Here is Sonic Rifle, play Vine Spikes. I'll have Groot attack and use 1 growth counter to boost his attack to 4. And have Quake attack for 2. And we'll draw 5. So I am Groot. I am Groot. And Jack Flag. So we get +1 threat. And the Goblin's going to attack Quake. Put Goblin Thrall into play. And we get 1 encounter card, which is another Goblin Thrall. Well, an attack for 8 for 2 damage is good, but it's overkill on either of these enemies, and I can't do it to the boss because they have guard. I can use I am Groot and Jack Flag to use Root Stomp. Get a growth counter. And we'll use a growth counter to boost the attack to 4 and take out the other goblin. I'll probably just throw away I am Groot here. I don't know. It's really good if you have a lot of growth counters, but I really, well, Vine Shield I guess isn't that good. I need the threat reduction more than anything. Let's just draw 3. And then we'll go 1 threat. Goblin will attack. We're at 7 health. I think we'll have to have Groot defend. 1, 2, 3. Don't want to take too much damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 damage. And then 1 encounter card, which is Regenerative Healing. He heals X damage, where X is equal to double the villain's stage number. He's on stage 2, so he heals 4. And then we'll go... I think I need to get out Rocket. Heal, or thwart for 2. Then draw 4. So 1 threat, 1 attack. We'll defend with Groot. Attack is for 3, 4, 5, so 2 damage. Then 1 encounter card. Goblin Reinforcements. Place 1 additional threat here for each goblin minion in play. Okay. Well, we can go... I think I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick Fury and draw 3 cards. We can go... Boy, I really like Lashing Vines, but I'd like to play Clear the Area. I'll throw away Gamora to play Clear the Area. Get rid of Goblin Reinforcements and draw a card. And then we'll use Power in All of Us to get out Lashing Vines. We'll go 2 threat reduction, 2 threat reduction, and we'll draw 4. So 1 threat, and Goblin will attack Nick Fury. And we got 1 encounter card coming, which is Goblin Soldier. Okay, well, we could start getting some work done here with Groot, I think. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Avengers Mansion. And draw a card. We'll use Groot to attack for 4. We'll use Rocket to attack for 4. I don't know, I may need Rocket to tank, though. Tank and attack if I'm going to stay in hero form. We'll use Groot, 2 counters from him to ready him. And then we'll attack again and deal 2 damage and then take 1 damage on Groot. And get rid of 1 B-Cop and then draw 4. I'll probably have to heal after this. We'll go 1 threat. Green Goblin will attack Rocket. 1 additional boost card. Okay, then one encounter card, which is Goblin Thrall. Avenger's Mansion draws a card. Get out Drax. Get out B-Cop. We'll use B-Cop. We'll use Drax. Well, we can't use Drax because he can't attack minions. So let's use a growth counter. And then I think we're going to flip to Alter Ego here. Gain 2 growth counters. Draw 6. And we owe an additional encounter card this round, so Goblin will scheme for 4. Ouch. Then we have 2 encounter cards coming. Pumpkin Bombs. And the Villain Schemes for 1, 2, 3. When completed, you must discard 3 and put the first Goblin minion discarded into play. 1, 2, 3. That's Goblin Soldier. And then we're on to the next phase. Okay. So we have to heal with Groot. We'll place 2 more growth counters. We'll heal. We'll go Avenger's Mansion. Fruition for 2 more counters. This is interesting. So I could deal 10 damage to the boss, but that only gets him down to 3 HP. Can use B-Cop. Let's flip to Hero. Let's use Power of Justice and clear the area. Now, Power of Justice, clear the area to I am Groot. Power on all of us for Entangling Vines. And we'll use Drax for 3 damage. And draw. Alright, so we got 1 threat, 1 attack. Let's defend. 1, 2, 3. So no damage, but the pumpkin bombs deal 2. And after using a basic power, we can use 2 Groot counters, growth counters to ready him. And then we got 1 encounter card coming, which is Wicked Ambitions. Discard X cards from the encounter deck where X is equal to double the villain's stage number. That's 4. Each time a goblin minion is discarded, choose to either take 3 damage or put that minion into play. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I want to take damage or put these into play? Well, this one I kept going, so I guess I need to put that into play regardless. Then I'll take 3 damage from the other one, so I don't want to get overwhelmed. So let's go ahead and go Avenger's Mansion. Let's use B-Cop. Do I have a I am Groot? No, unfortunately. I can go 1, 2, 3 for Gamora. Do I want to use We Are Groot here? I think not. I think I want to do 2 basic attacks. So we'll go 1 growth counter for an attack of 3. Lashing Vines, 2 growth counters to ready him. And we'll attack for 2. Gamora will attack for 2. And then we'll discard until we find an event. which is a root stomp. I think we'll use We Are Groot here with the root stomp. Remove 3 counters and give toughnesses after Drax attacks. We'll go toughness, toughness, toughness. So we're out of growth counters now. And we got 1 threat coming, 1 attack from the goblin. Put that on Drax. No, I'll put that on Gamora. Remove toughness. And then we got 1 encounter card, which is a goblin soldier. For the hero phase, we'll use Avengers Mansion. We'll go 1, 2, 3 for the sonic rifle, and we'll use it to confuse the boss. I'm gonna go I Am Groot plus Quake to get out Wiccan, use him to thwart. We discard a boost card and it's just 0, so that doesn't do any damage. I was hoping it would deal 2. Because I don't have any growth counters to buff Groot or anything like that. We can use Beat Cop. Let's just attack for 2. Let's use Drax to attack for 3. And let's flip to Alter Ego, gain 2 growth counters, and draw 6. So 2 threat, and then 1 scheme for 3. And then 1 from the Goblin Soldier, and then 1 encounter card, Goblin Thrall. Groot really needs an AoE attack. Well, let's gain 2 growth counters, let's heal. Let's use Beat Cop. Let's use Avengers Mansion. Let's flip to Hero, let's use Fruition. Let's use Root Stomp on this Thrall for 1 growth counter. Let's use... Oh, I forgot, the Goblin shouldn't have schemed because he was confused. Any threat was that? It was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I think it was 3, right? Yeah, it was 3 for the Green Goblin and 1 for the minion. So we'll remove the confuse and get rid of that. And then we'll confuse him again with the sonic rifle. Let's go 1, 2, 3 for... No, I can't use Mockingbird until... Let's use Wiccan to thwart. And discard an encounter card, which is a boost of 0, unfortunately. I was really hoping for at least 1 damage. That would have made things easier. Well, let's use Drax. Let's use Gamora. Put the boss into phase 3, which means 3 encounter cards. And we discard until we find an event. That's a good event. We'll use those 2 for I Am Groot on the Goblin Soldier. It's overkill by a lot, but I don't want to leave him up. And then we'll draw 3. So we got 1 threat, 1 attack, which we'll put on Drax. And then we got 4 encounter cards coming and 1 acceleration token. Discard 6 cards, and each time a goblin minion is discarded, choose to either take 3 damage or put that minion into play. Take the goblin thrall. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. Goblin thrall, sure. Now I think I'll take 3 damage on that one. Goblin glider, that's going to go on the goblin thrall. Master plan. Overrun. And Shadow of the Past. That's a rough turn. Blazing Inferno. Okay. Well, anyway we can deal 20 damage. Not without I Am Groot, like multiple I Am Groot plays. Let's use Avengers Mansion. Draw a card. Not a helpful card. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick Fury and deal 4 damage. Biggest threats first. We'll go Nick Fury to take out Fernax. We have Entangling Vines, which we can use for +2 threats, so we can deal with the Blazing Inferno. We'll thwart with Wiccan. Discard 2 cards and put each goblin minion discarded into play. None. Did I shuffle that deck after? No, I didn't. Did I? Whoops. Okay, now there's 1. I should ready Groot after using his attack, so then I can attack with Vine Spikes and take out the Goblin Thrall. And I can use Beak Cop for 1 thwart and draw 3. So 2 threat +1 for the soldier is 3 threat. Green Goblin will attack Nick Fury. Wiccan's retired. Oh, I was supposed to discard an encounter card, so that would be this one. Or did I do... No, I didn't do that, but it would be 0 damage and then Green Goblin's attack. Okay. And we have 1 attack from the soldier and 1 encounter card. Another Thrall. Okay, Avengers Mansion. That's going to be an extra encounter card. I think now is the time for Beak Cop to get rid of the Goblin Soldier, which removes 1. Let's use 1 growth counter for +2 attack. Let's go 1, 2, 3 for Mockingbird and get a stun. Remove 1 threat. And let's flip over and get 2 growth counters here. Let's use Sonic Rifle and Beak Cop for Root Stomp here before flipping, and then flip over and get 2 growth counters. Draw 6. And he does not get to scheme, so we remove Confuse. We got Pumpkin Bombs. We got Pumpkin Bombs. That's going to be a lot of damage after he attacks. We'll get 2 growth counters, we'll heal. We'll draw a card. We'll use Fruition. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Do I want to play Jack Flag or do I want to get 6 threat reduction? I think I'll get the 6 threat reduction. Then we can use We Are Groot for 2 tokens and a toughness on Gamora, and Mockingbird after she thwarts. Can use Gamora to deal 2 damage and stay on the board, and we'll draw 4. 2 threat, remove stun, 1 encounter card. Hysteria is going to get 1 additional boost. How much damage do I have? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not enough. So let's go Vine Shield for clear the area. Avengers Mansion, draw a card. This should be enough. 4 damage. 2 damage. 2 damage. 4 damage. Ready him. And then 2 damage. Okay. Well, clearly not making this a forced interrupt makes Groot a lot stronger. Is he too powerful? I mean, he didn't have as hard a time on this as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, I think, was able to beat this on Heroic 1. So let's try this on Heroic 1. Let's get set up and try that. Okay, we're set up again with Green Goblin, and let's test out Groot on Heroic 1. If he defeats Heroic 1 too easily, then we'll say, okay, this change makes him too powerful, and we can see why they did it. But if it doesn't, or if he really struggles against this, I wouldn't say he overpowered the first quest. He did well against it. But these goblin scenarios are not that difficult. So let's try Heroic 1 and see how Groot does. A scenario which I defeated with Doctor Strange. Do we want to keep I Am Groot? We Are Groot? No. Everything else seems okay. So we'll gain our 2 growth counters. We'll go Fruition for 2 growth counters. We'll flip. We'll go Quake for clear the area. Draw a card. Go 1, 2, 3 for Mockingbird for a stun. So we owe 2 encounter cards to start the game. We'll go 1, 2, 3 for the Goblin Thrall, and then we'll draw the 4. So 1 threat, remove stun. 3 encounter cards. Regenerative healing. He doesn't have any damage, so he surges. Overconfidence. Green Goblin attacks you. If 3 damage is dealt, well, we need to defend then. For 1 damage. Death from above. Green Goblin attacks with +X attack where X is equal to his stage number. That's 2. So he attacks with 4 damage. Ouch. And then we actually need 1 extra encounter card because I forgot about the Heroic 1. The villain attacks you. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have to use the growth counters yet. We want to save them and then overrun. Okay. Ouch. We'll go Fruition. We'll go Root Stomp, clear the area. And I think we'll use I Am Groot for entangling vines. Thwart and draw 4. So we got 1 threat, we got 1 attack from Goblin. Got 2 encounter cards. Villain Schemes for 1, 2, 3, 4. And that card gets shuffled into the encounter deck. And Goblin Knight. Not good. We may just die before being able to get set up. One, two, three, 4 for Avengers Mansion. Lashing Vines, I'm really sorry to see go. I think Avengers Mansion's a little bit better in this spot, though. Draw a card. I'd love to play that, but I don't have the resources for it. I think we need to threat reduction. And then we'll flip to Alter Ego. Gain 2 growth counters, draw 5. The scheme is going to advance here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that advances the scheme, and that means when completed, you have to discard 3 cards and put from the encounter deck and put the first Goblin minion discarded into play. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is a tough situation. And the Goblin Knight schemes for 2. And the Goblin Thrall schemes for 1, since the scheme advanced when the Green Goblin schemed. I think I actually owed 2 additional threat from his additional attacks earlier. And then there's still 2 encounter cards coming. Goblin Glider. Intimidation. Give him a boost card. Alright, for the hero phase we'll draw. We'll add growth counters. We'll flip to hero, we'll heal. Flip to hero, use Root Stomp for 5. Play Rocket and attack. He does overkill, but it can't. Does overkill still go to the boss with guard up? I'm gonna have to check. Okay, the villain still takes the damage. Overkill just prevents you from targeting the boss, or guard prevents you from targeting the boss with the attack, so he still takes 2 damage. So we're on the board with damage. And then we'll draw 5. So 2 threat and 1 attack from the Goblin. We'll have Groot tank that. Attack is for 2, 3. Yikes. 2, 3, 4. So 1 damage. Then 1 and 1. I think I'll use growth counters for this. I think now is a good time to use those. And we have 2 encounter cards coming. This does not feel like a challenge that Groot can do, even buffed. Maybe he just got a bad draw and he got stomped. Okay, that's going to end it right now. So let's reset and try one more time. Here we go. I don't think I'll keep Iron Groot off the bat. Well, maybe, yeah, Root Stomp is better off the bat. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so we'll give 2 encounter cards, 2 growth counters, we'll flip. We'll go strength for root stomp and take out this thrall and gain a growth counter. And 1, 2, 3, 4 for Jack Flag. Thwart for 2, give him 1 ammo counter and draw 5. 2 damage from Groot. So 1 threat, 1 attack from the Green Goblin, which Groot will face tank. That's going to be 2, 3, and 1 threat, and then 3 encounter cards, actually 4 because it's heroic 1. Healing, intimidation, Goblin Thrall. Wicked Ambitions, we have to discard 4 and make a decision on each minion. I'll put that one into play. Take 3 damage there. Okay. So on to the hero phase. We'll go clear the area to clear the area. Drax and Wiccan for Ironheart. Sonic Rifle for Lashing Vines. One, two, three for a Goblin Thrall. We'll use Jack Flag here to deal 2 damage. And we'll draw 5. So 1 threat, 1 attack from the Goblin on Ironheart. Oof. That hurts. Attacks for 1, 2, 3. I think we'll use 1 counter for that. And then 2 encounter cards. Hysteria. And reinforcements. Let's go Fruition. I do not have good options here. Jack Flag can thwart. Gamora for 2 damage. Groot for 2, not 3. And draw 5. So 1 threat, 1 attack. I think we'll have to use Jack Flag to tank that. Oh, I forgot to use Gamora's ability to get an event. But then I would have drawn 1 less card. Green Goblin on Jack Flag. Gets an extra boost card. Shuffle into the encounter deck. And 1 and 1. We'll use growth counters for that. And then we have 2 encounter cards. The villain attacks you. Defend. It's 2 boosts. Goblin Thrall. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 damage. And then Goblin Reinforcements. 3 additional threat. I mean, we're gonna lose, right? Gamora for damage. Discard to find an event. We can Root Stomp. Grab a growth counter. And I am Groot. We are Groot for 2 toughnesses. And I think we have to flip here, right? To alter ego. Grab 2 growth counters. Draw 6. So we got 1 threat, we got Goblin schemes for 1, 2, plus another boost, 3. And the Goblin Soldier's going to scheme, which completes it. 3 discard. Okay, no minions, that's good. And then there's going to be 3 encounter cards. It's a Surge, Soldier, Overrun, Shadow of the Past. Okay. Well, for the hero phase, I mean, I can go through the motions, but we're gonna lose. I have to heal. I can gain 2 threat. I can go 1, 2, 3 for I am Groot after I flip to hero form and remove 5. Can use Gamora with her toughness to remove 1 here. Discard 2. Another Goblin Soldier. And that's all I can really do. I could clear the area, but what's the point? Additional encounter card. So 1, 1, 2, 3 threat. Attack from Green Goblin. It's 2 boost cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can block 2 with the toughness. Then 1, 2, 3. We'll use 1 growth counter. And then 3 encounter cards. And also I have Blazing Inferno, which deals 2 indirect. Go 1 and 1. And Fernax, which is 2 indirect. And then we have encounter cards, Fan the Flames, 2 indirect damage. If Blazing Inferno is in play, take 1 additional indirect damage, plus 1 for Fernax, so that ends the game. Well, this does definitely make Groot more fun to play. Is it overpowered? Not in solo, I don't think. Not in solo. It makes Groot playable. It makes him fun. He's not up to like Doctor Strange or Captain America's level because he doesn't have the ability to stun the boss. And he's very reliant on his basic attacks, his basic actions to make use of his upgrades. And you can only use the upgrades once per round, no matter how many growth counters you have. So he's got room for big plays with like We Are Groot or a max power I Am Groot, a damage play. But those plays aren't so outrageous that I would call him overpowered. You have to save all of your growth counters to do a 10 damage I Am Groot, which is really good, but if you save all your growth counters, you can't do a We Are Groot, you can't do a Lashing Vines or any of his upgrades. You can't use it for damage blocking. His thwart is pretty bad. And he just doesn't feel overpowered to me using this modification where we just scratch out forced and just say it's an interrupt. I don't know, maybe in multiplayer it would be, but I just don't see it. I don't see the need for that to be a forced interrupt. I think it should just be a regular interrupt, and then I think Groot would be playable and fun, and I think he'd be a fan favorite if that were the case. A fan favorite hero, not too strong, but pretty strong, probably a solid A tier hero, but lacking some of the tools needed and kind of situationally not that good if his basic action is taken away from him buy an encounter card, or if you're forced to use growth counters to defend damage. But yeah, I really just don't see the need for the forced interrupt there. So I was going to test out Thor with the bigger hand size, but we've been playing for quite a while now, so I'll just leave it at this, and we'll test out Thor later. But for now, if you watched this, let me know what you think. Groot with no forced interrupt? Too much? Maybe with the expanded card pool it was too much. Maybe they were thinking ahead to other cards that would come out that would make Groot better, but from what I've seen from hero tier lists or whatever, he never gets better. He's always considered dumpster tier. So why not? Why not make this just an interrupt and not a force interrupt? Do an errata and make Groot playable. With the new Guardians movie coming out, he's a fan favorite hero. He's fun that way, but I don't think he's overpowered. I think that would have been a good change. Anyway, what do you think? Thank you for watching.